ultimately, I do think that, you know, as we've said, should be favorites for Furia. We'll just have to wait and find out. Operator bans coming through. The Kite ban, super expected on a map like Clubhouse. Could follow that up with a Bandit very potentially. There we will see it coming through from Furia. Then Maverick and Capitao, both being moved by OXG. That Capitao is going to make clearing Rafters really tough now.
I love that. I love that. We switch over. We already see them attacking the utility because they know how important those spots are to hold. Holding that Raptors portion of Garage is just such a big deal for your CCTV setup, guys. If that goes away, the plant is practically guaranteed on the far side of that server bank unless there's some utility that can get poured over. But 9 times out of 10, that plat wall is already popped.
Yep.
People are more than willing to shoot those nitros out of the sky.
Wow, we're going to have to see how that one goes. We'll start down in the basement. I kind of thought we might start Gym Bedroom because it's actually been one that Fury have struggled with a little bit on their offensive side, but I've got no doubt it will show up unless we see some bar stage shenanigans, but shouldn't end up happening. OXG, looking at this lineup, I think very likely we'll see a full anchor strat coming out from them. Could go for a bit of a roam, I guess, with Adam on the top floor, playing on that mute. It tricks her as well if he wants to. Gomez could be up there too, and just based on their positioning, they might stick around for a little bit, shoot some drones, but I don't know if we'll see them take any actual gunfights on the top floor. They're not super set up for it.
Yeah, absolutely. When it comes to Oxygen here, they're going to want to try and delay a little bit of time, as Jesse said. Try and do some damage to that drone game, because that's one of the things that Furia is fantastic about, capitalizing off of information, processing the map. And you can see from their lineup, this is pretty execute heavy. You have that Ying in there, you have that Sense in there. They're looking to lean things towards the site later on and just explode into that area, blinding everybody, making it to where those angles are just unforeseen.
Well, wasting no time getting into the map. Top floor being cleared very quickly. Main floor being gonna be cleared up next. It's only really Adam that's extending out of the basement, but I mean, he's playing Secret Stairs. This is not really a place where he's gonna fight somebody. He's aiming at level, but it should be a drone that comes through first. Here it comes. Now we retreat right back, because if anybody gets on that window, it's going to be bad news. Gomez, though, inside a church, maybe through a vert hatch, or maybe just through the floorboards, will strike first, taking down Hertz.
That's exactly what you want in a situation like this. They get the first pick, they've got all this delay utility, and let alone that fact, you still have Force on a zombie. So a lot of this verticality you can deal with in a certain way, kind of block up those angles and make your life a little bit easier.
Wow, good usage of the Havana, starting to open up some of these hatches. We've got all 3 of them, I believe, at this point. I'm not 100% sure on the blue hatch, but unlikely it's going to be much of a problem. Looks like JV's going to go get it now, so no issues coming out from the secondary support player on Furia. We're going to slow things down now, Sam. This is going to be an interesting execute with Sens. I've seen this quite a lot. This won't be the push, I don't believe, as the fire is still going to cause a bit of a problem. It'll be interesting to see if they fake with that Sens wall and suppose that they might be going Moto, where it's actually going to be a push either main stairs into Armory, or if they're going to maybe move over towards Kitchen, drop the Sense wall in through there, and start to push that direction instead.
And that's the beauty of what they've done so far with the map. They get all those hatches open, they have that entire mid-floor to themselves, so they can really pick and choose at any moment where they want to go. Oxygen just have to be ready and willing, and as well as open to any of these different solutions that Furia try and provide.
Nade's on the sledge. I think he wants to go down main straight into Armory. That's why he's on this operator. The wall is soft. It's not currently open, but with that sledgehammer, he can very quickly go down the main stairs into Armory, get a good plant.
Nice shot. Adam will take out KZ. Still have one over here inside of Moto. That's going to be JV92. Very minimal rounds right now, but oh, what a shot out of Adam. He'll find him with the M590. And so far, Furia looking worse for wear. Oxygen, they've got a winning strategy for round 1. Nade, I love you, but I doubt it. It's a flawless round.
Wow, talk about a statement, right? To start things off on Clubhouse. Sure, it's a basement defense. Maybe you're expected to win that. But with all 5 players alive, that's a really big starting point. And obviously, you're going to look at Adam, right? Getting the 3K, playing close in the Moto door. That's a huge play to be made by him. But even still, for that first pick coming through on the initial frag, taking down, I believe it was Hertz, that was a hugely important kill because it really stopped the momentum from Furia. They then didn't have the man advantage. They couldn't work a pick. They had no pressure they could apply onto Adam after that pick. So really nice stuff coming out from Oxygen, showing they're not afraid of Furia. They're not going to stray away from those early in gunfights, and then they can also step up late round. Big first round from Adam.
Yeah, I absolutely love that from Oxygen. And the big thing is there for me is the fact that, you know, Furia, that pick ends up going off, right? And that just leans into the fact that, like you said, Jesse, there's just not enough man advantage for Furia that's kind of lacking at that moment in time. Yeah. And really, why that's so punishing is it kind of starts to pigeonhole you into how you take the site. You don't have nearly as many players to play verticality, and especially when you looked at that original lineup, you got Ying, you got Sense, you're trying to dislodge things, right? You're trying to force them back into different positions, and you don't really have anybody upstairs to assist with that whenever it does happen. So they end up going for that ragtag strategy over there in Moto, and it just doesn't work out, man.
Can't say I expect to see a lot.
KZ!
All right, there we go, I guess. Starting things off by stopping the spawn peek from Grixer. Is that what that was? Massive entry to be able to take down that player. OXG can play aggressive, but Furia will be ready for it for the second round, so good to see them answering back. I was about to talk about Adam's positioning. It was weird to see him on site on the smoke, not his traditional role. Now playing on that more extended position, playing the Jaeger over towards Master, hoping to go for an early gunfight. Might go for another peek as well outside the building, but given how the first one went, I don't really expect it.
Smoke's in here for Furia, but don't expect them to just swing on in just yet. A lot of process still has to work through. The castle's downstairs here over towards the bar connector area. Herd's actually going to be on the Blackbeard for this one as well, which has grown to be quite an impactful operator since his change. Been seeing him time and time again, and as you can see, not a single shield ban coming through, so Furia is going to have this for the remainder.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big point, right? Furia have historically not really been a big shield team when everybody else was running them. Furia haven't run a ton. But this season, I feel like Nade's been playing more and more, so we might actually see that coming over Furia more this half. Depends on what they end up wanting to do for the other bomb site, but Herds is starting to make his way in on the Master side. Now, it was Adam that was roaming on this position earlier. Now he's down in bar. Gomez lounge as well, so 2 players on this mid floor for OXG. Leaves the bombs like kind of exposed. Obviously, Gomez can go up those red stairs, but that's what Herds is smelling, and he wants to pick.
Oh, Adam's going to get a shot instead, and Gomez delivers with the ump. Herds down, Gomez once again for the double kill. And so far, so damn good for Oxygen. I'm genuinely surprised, but I have to just chalk it up to their patience right now. They are playing stellar Siege, taking their time, forcing Furia into these situations, and forcing them to problem solve, Jesse.
And now you're seeing the effects of the Capitao ban. Fleetbox trying to make it happen with the Nomad being pushed at the same time. He's fully blind. This is a really awkward spot. He should not survive this.
What a swing. Swing in from the rafters, swing in down low. It's all Oxygen all the time as they suffocate Furia. The Beasts from Brazil have not been able to find anything on offense just yet. A flawless round last round for Oxygen. Practically a flawless round this round as Grixer got taken out in the first seconds of the round. So we'll give it to him. We'll be nice. Gomez, that's a triple for him on the round with the ump. Never hate the man. No. Never do it. He's always got it, man. He's got that sauce.
Furia, I mean, I'm a little surprised by the way they're playing this game so far. You usually expect to see Furia consistent with the trades, right? When one person dies, somebody's there to answer right away. We're not seeing that so much coming out from Furia. Feels like one player dies and then there's nobody there. Maybe there is 2 or 3 seconds later, but the trade's coming really, really late. And it gives just that little bit of time for OXG to maybe reposition a little bit inside the site and catch that last player off guard as well. Also, it feels like they're maybe struggling with utility a little bit. Yeah. You saw on that wall, in that one, the con wall was never able to get opened. And they maybe tried to make that space happen with the Blackbeard instead. But when you're playing the Blackbeard and you're just swinging with the shield down, you don't actually have any extra cover, right? I mean, it's Siege. We're aiming for the head, right? So if you're just swinging with the shield down anyways, when you have no extra information, you're almost not playing a shield at all. So, interesting initial swing coming out from Herds. Didn't really find what he was looking for, and it does feel like OXG are incredibly dialed in on these late round bomb sites.
Yeah, you can definitely tell they've been putting in some work over these last couple of weeks because they have came into this with a proper game plan up against Furia. And yeah, I definitely think that Furia is kind of lacking in a certain term right now. And it really just goes up to them trying to pull things back across the line. That perfect example was that situation with Blackbeard right there. That's a lot of face checking for little value. And especially with Grixer just waiting in the wings there. He wanted Adam so bad on that Jaeger. He overswings, gets taken out from the other angle. Yep. We've seen it time and time again. This time, it happens to one of the best teams in the world.
Nice to see some, I mean, obviously they didn't get it, I guess, that second round, but the entries have been a little bit better from OXG as well. 1-1 to start things off, and again, they were getting aggressive to try to get that spawn peak in the second round as well when they got punished. I'll mention it again, OXG, just a 46% entry rate through the season so far. That's the lowest of any team this tournament. Now, it should be said that OXG have had tougher opponents than some of the other teams in this tournament, so it's not exactly apples to apples, but I still think it makes solid arguments that when you're looking at a team like OXG, you were maybe a bit worried about how that early rounds might go for them. Now we're kind of seeing that the answer being shown, right? OXG are being able to consistently engage in that early rounds, and I'm looking forward to see how that develops the rest of this match as well.
Yeah, 100%. And really, I just want to see what the changeup's going to be for Furia, because they get that initial pick in this last round, but it doesn't actually mean anything. They don't get the proper map control they want. They never able to secure Garage. Construction's basically a farce. It just is falling apart at the seams for them on that take. And now it's one of these things where you got to bring things back to bear. You need to be able to reach back into that bag and pull out the Furia that we all know so very well and start bringing things to Oxygen. Because the one thing about Clubhouse, you do not want things to roll downhill when it comes to that offensive side, man. You need some rounds. You need at least one.
Yep.
Give me one.
Well, as we're in a little bit of a technical pause right now, Sam, I'd like to ask you a bit of a fun fact question.
Okay.
Do you know the last time that these two rosters met?
Man, oh, well, this is, so I'll think openly here with you guys at home. Oxygen has not been at an event in at least 2 years.
Other than SI.
Yes, true. Yes. So let's think here. They probably didn't play against each other at SI, though. I'm going to say 2.5 years.
Very close.
What was it?
2 years almost exactly. They met in Riyadh at Gamers 8 2 years ago.
Oh.
That was the lower bracket finals of the group stage. So that was an elimination game, and that was the match where Furia, then of course called W7M, knocked OXG out of the tournament, sent them home after OXG got a free invite to that event, I should mention as well, for how well they did at SI that year. So OXG, they might not have faced this Furia team in a while, and Oxygen, to be frank, only have one of the same players they had back then. But even still, this is a team that maybe wants a bit of that revenge and have some memories, some flashbacks of what happened 2 years ago at this very tournament. And they want to make sure that doesn't happen again. These guys sent them home 2 years ago, and now they're finally back at an international event, and it looks like OXG are ready to be another top 4 team in the NA like they used to be way back in the day. They need to make sure that it's not cut short by a team like Furia again.
It's exciting. It's really exciting. And especially, you know, it's a very small sample size right now. We have 2 offensive rounds of Clubhouse. So please, guys, take this with a grain of salt when I say it, okay? But I'm very happy with what we've seen so far, especially with the fact that Forrest is looking like he's got a very good hold as to how Furia are going to try and operate on this map. The shot calling has been so stellar. Yeah,
no, it's been really, really nice. I mean, OXG, obviously, they swapped up their IGL coming into this stage. It used to be Gomez last season, and I think he struggled quite a bit because Gomez is kind of a player that wants to be in those fragging positions. He wants to be able to make impact in the game, but he was kind of struggling to do that a little bit as the IGL. Once they added Force to the roster, that really opened things up for Gomez to get a little bit more active in the round, allows Gomez to be a little bit more proactive in the server, and now it's able to be shifted that responsibility so that Forrest can do more of the calling, can do more of the IGLing. And Forrest, you know, maybe his stats aren't the highest in the world, but even still, he's adding that impact as an IGL, being able to call for his team. And he hasn't been an IGL for a while because he was on that SSG squad with Faltz, who was the captain of that team. But him working in with this squad, growing over the course of the stage, getting more comfortable as an IGL, more comfortable in calling. I think you've really been able to see that steady improvement over the last couple of months, and it's been a really big story, I think, in the North America League to see how far this team has come.
I honestly really think that Forrest kind of needs that as well, just for his play style, because it forces him to slow things down a bit.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest thing for me with him with SSG. I've always loved Forrest, and I love what he brings to the game, but sometimes he is his own worst enemy.
Yeah.
And with Oxygen, especially from what we've seen, at least right now, he's starting to be a little bit more reserved, which I think will be very rewarding with a position like what he's doing now. So, fortunately enough, tech pause over, guys. I mean, we're just so good, I'm sure you didn't even notice. Round 3 will now be on the docket as Furia looks to try and take a hold of the top floor.
Gym bedroom, I mentioned, I thought we might see this a little bit earlier on, but once again, Furia have struggled to attack this bomb site so far this season. Just a 27% win rate through 11 rounds, both at reload and during stage 1, so maybe one that they will be a little bit less experienced on, something that they've struggled on in the past. We'll start with the Ard Breach, obviously. KZ on the Thermite, getting everything open that he needs to, and while there is a mute on the board, I don't think that's going to cause too many issues, and everything is going pretty smooth at the moment for Furia. Finally, a mute jammer catches one of those ace charges, and that slows things down a little bit, but look at this. Felipox from down below on the 0 might be able to find answers for that.
Checking things out upstairs in logistics. Won't be able to find too much inside of the office, but that's okay. Furia is doing a bang-up job of working their way through this top floor so far. No picks either way, but the big thing is right now is how long can Oxygen persist? Furia's got the walls open. They're starting to work their way in towards this bathroom area. What a find with the 0. You don't get to see him used all that often anymore, but he's practically a Twitch right now as he's just taking away everything from OXG.
And Herds has really been able to lurk his way up the main stairs. I'm not sure if they know he's here. Holding a really tight angle all the way over to the con door. Nobody's swinging at the moment. They might know it's a possibility. And with some free fires, they seem to have some information that he's here.
He flashes out. Now this is a really, really risky hallway. You choose right, somebody shoots you from the left. You choose left, well, vice versa. Furia, though, they're gonna pop off. They'll get 2. This swing's so important. Does he get the kill from the office? Forrest will get another one. It's a 3 versus 3. Yaga now on the Jaeger, and he finds Felipox. KZ down. It's only Nade with an AK-12 by his side. He'll get 1, but can he follow through on these other 2? Gomez is on such low HP. Nade has been tagged up, and it's done. It's dusted. Oxygen complete a perfect sight triangle up against one of the best squads in the world.
And that was not an easy round to win, Sam. I mean, 3v5 disadvantage. They lost double entry. It didn't seem like it was going to be possible, but the Jaeger coming in from Cash completely caught them by surprise. It was really a distracting force that was able to stall out at least part of that push that ended up coming through from Furia. And then in that site as well, you saw the plays coming out from Gomez, hitting some massive kills late in that round. That was really cool stuff coming out from Oxygen, and part of it comes back to the fact that Furia chose not to clear CC and Cash.
Yep.
They decided they didn't need it. They went instead for focus over on the jacuzzi wall. Right, they had pressure over towards Logi as well. Main stairs was a big point of that push, but really did feel like they were doing a great job of using the ground that they still had on OXG to make sure that that round was possible.
Yeah, I especially love that push out of Yaga on the back end over towards Cash, because what that created was just an air of chaos. There was so much going on that not a single Furia player was really able to assist with another situation because there was just so much happening across the board. And Oxygen, I mean, they're firing on all cylinders right now, man. They are just finding their way through this game, and they're getting these big moment frags. And really, sometimes, that's the brass tacks, buddy. Like, you gotta hit those shots, and I mean, damn it, especially Yogg with that pistol there. That was just very, very impressive. So let's see what they can do with this latter half now of this defensive side. We have some extra bans come in, Jesse. It's Mira for the offense, and it's Ying for the defense.
Yeah, interesting bans to come through. We haven't seen a ton of impact from these operators so far in this game, but Mira, one of the strongest operators on Clubhouse, so it does make sense there. And then Ying, just consistently one of the highest banned operators in CJX. So not hugely shocking to see that. It took 4 rounds for the Clash to come through. Part of that might be that they were hiding it for the first 3 so that it didn't get banned for the next 3. That is something that teams have been doing so far throughout this stage. When we see a lot of that play coming out, when you have an operator that you want to hide a little bit, you can then really change up your game plan, change up the pacing of your game right after you make that move. This is a basement defense, by the way, and Yaga's top red on the Clash, so I'm really interested to see what he wants to do with it. Gomez is the Azami playing Rafter, so he's got somebody by his side to try to make this aggression happen over on the top floor, but this is still really risky. Adam up there too.
Oxygen, similar idea to the last round that we saw in Basement. This is all about time sync, but they're trying to accomplish it in a completely different way, Jesse. Last time we saw them try and work that mid-floor, shoot a couple of drones, then just backtrack down, hold the stairwell. It's a very common way to deal with Clubhouse. This time, it's the extension all the way up top to try and do the same thing.
And you remember how fast Furia were in the building pack in round 1? Well, that's the complete opposite now, because they have a situation. There's a really smart barricade and a really smart Goyo. Herds could have caused a massive problem if that was not set up that way. But OXG, they're thinking of every possibility. They know that they could get roam cleared, so they're playing all those players up on the top floor. They know they could just get ignored and hit the site. They've got that utility to slow down Furia so they can't go for a fast rush. And now everybody on OXG will get back to site alive. That's a really good early round from them.
That's amazing. This is exactly what you want out of Oxygen. They'll give up the mid-floor to Furia. Now we'll get back into the processing plant, see exactly what they can do. Yaga, he saw the gun leave his hands, and he chooses to take the swing. That's exactly what you want, because you're going to lose that shield. When those nades bounce in, you don't have the time. It's going to destroy that. So instead, he'll choose to destroy Herds' life instead, as he goes 0-4.
That's a good trade. I mean, you're shutting down the primary entry of Furia extremely well so far today. 0-4, as you mentioned. Now Furia have less than 60 seconds. They've got a man disadvantage. They don't have arguably their most talented fragger, maybe alongside KZ. This is just not going to be a pretty push. JV starts to drop inside of Memo, so they've got a start of a push coming through. Bleepbox on the main stairs, so it looks like it's going to be a very similar push to last time. Previously, we saw Adam on the smoke having a huge impact here. Now it's kind of Gomez is playing that same position. It's even going to have the same impact, as there's still a lot of pressure from Furia. Moto and the church wall. What was that?
Let's see it, Gomez. I'm ready. Are you ready, Jesse?
Yes, sir.
Let's get it. Oh, some nice shots. Gomez will go down. That'll be his first death, but I mean, I think he's done his due diligence for this round. It's down to Furia to try and get this done. It's obviously a plant in behind the bar. We'll see if this will go off without a hitch, but nade's already down. Philly Pucks drops with the case. It's all up to KZ, and he's got no face, as Yago will remove that for him. And it is 4-0 Oxygen. Can you pinch me real quick? Can you? This is, I don't know what's happening right now. Yeah, no, this is just otherworldly.
I mean, it's a masterclass. Obviously, it is clubhouse defense. Like, this is going to be the favorable side, but even still, the way they're winning these rounds, Sam, so many of them have been flawless or close to flawless, and even in that round, right? Not a flawless, but they were in control the whole time.
Yeah.
In the early round, they slowed things down so Furia couldn't take map control. And then in the mid-round, they rotated back to site and got an early pick onto Herds. That was a huge man advantage they secured for themselves. And then in the late round, well, they're hitting ridiculous shots. That one from Gomez was absolutely uncalled for, but he hits it anyways. And then they're aware of the plans. They're aware of all possibilities that could be coming out from Furia. They're aware of the positions that they're coming down from main stairs, where the bulk of that push ends up coming from. And I think it's just really well prepared from OXG. You know, any push that Furia could go for, it feels like Oxygen have thought about it, they're ready for it, they're expecting it, and they're always able to counter it. It's been a really solid game from OXG.
Just from the games that I watched from stage 1 in comparison to the Oxygen that we're seeing right now, it's night and day, Jesse. It's night and day. And again, it goes back to what I talked about earlier. I'm so impressed, especially with Forrest calling. He's so reserved, man. It's like he's not the same human.
And do you know what's the craziest part of all of this, Sam? Their best player has 0 kills.
Yeah.
Grixer's not found one.
He's 0-2. He's chilling.
And that's no shade to Grixer. He's not been called upon just yet. He doesn't need to make the plays so far. His teammates are stepping up and doing it for him. So not a single player in OXG has died more than twice. Only Grixer has died twice. Everybody else with 0 or 1 death so far. I mean, that again speaks to not just how strong these rounds are, but how dominant they are. Now, look at that. Herds on the board, finally gets his opening pick. It seems like that might be the answer they were looking for. It's come kind of late, but that's a huge one.
Well, at least for Oxygen's side, you don't have to worry too much, as the castle utility will still persist, so life will still be somewhat easy, breezy, beautiful. Big thing is now for Furia is exactly how do you want to try and work your way into this bomb site. They have a shield in with Nade over on the far side, as they'll work their way in through Jacuzzi. This is going to be Adam, and he has been tumultuous to deal with thus far. We'll see if he's able to find any more impact here from Logistics, as they'll continue to line things up. Do still have a couple players over towards that gym side, just not trying to look for too much motion out of that shield just yet, as they know that there's still a couple players rotating around this construction area.
And Yaga finds the pick, and then Adam finds the shield player. Nade goes down. Grixer's just been causing such a distraction, too. Everybody's looking at Grixer, and it ends up being 2 other players that get those big picks. Adam's all still inside of Logistics, so likely to go down here is they will get a trade out, presumably. They've got flashes and smoke, so they want to try to clear him. But, man, I mean, this has been a disaster from Furia. They know his position. This should be a... Oh, no.
They didn't drone him.
Sam.
Jesse? Jesse?
Sam.
Adam. Please?
He's got kids.
Stun in. He's playing this so perfectly. This is exactly what you want. Just waste so much time. You already know it's over, Adam. There's no real point in this. That air jab's gonna knock him down. He'll get aggressive, but does he have the time? He's still got shots out of that. They're both so weak already. Philippox is below half. Herds damn near on the doorstep.
Dude, that can't take you 2 flashes and an air jab, though. Like, you don't have time, you don't have numbers. You need to get that trade back immediately. That guy's already stole 2 kills from you when you knew his position the whole time. They would have to waste so much time and util just on one guy. This push should be impossible.
It's so rough right now for Furia. even when they do right by themselves, it somehow still turns out to be the wrong answer. They're not able to make any headway properly on this side of the map. Now they're stuck in construction. Every gun of Oxygen pointed this way, and now they just don't have to risk it too much. That's it. Force with a double, a smoke on the door, and that's all she wrote. That's 5 rounds in a row for the defense.
Yeah, I mean, when you're pushing from construction and you have no way to get the wall open, you've got to funnel through that doorway. I mean, it doesn't even really matter what the numbers are. Unless you have a huge advantage, I mean, it's just not going to be a push that works out for you. And OXG stare at the doorway. It's a very simple way to close that out. But I really just need to give credit to Adam, because it feels like all game long, he has been just stomping on these guys on Furia. I thought that this would be his biggest test, right? Adam has not had the greatest of years so far. He had a 104 KDR coming through in the North America League. He's the primary entry on this team. And as I'll repeat myself, OXG have the worst entry stats of anyone in this tournament. So you look at Adam as a guy who's probably going to be tasked with stepping it up this event. And what is he doing today? Stepping it up massively. We saw it in round 1 when he was playing on that smoke. Not really an entry position, but it was a 5-man anchor, so he does what he needs to in an aggressive position. And then that round, completely solo, by himself in logistics, somehow finds a kill onto Nade, who's playing Monty. No clue how he made that work. And then works another pick, and so much time in neutral after that. It's crazy the impact that he is having for this team.
Yeah.
Everybody's playing well on OXG, but Adam, for me, has been the real standout.
And that's what I was just about to say. The beauty of Oxygen's playstyle right now is, Jesse, is that it's not an individual show.
Yes,
the
not.
perfect example is that situation that we saw happen right there. The reason that Monty's headspace got so out of whack is because of Yaga over in construction just being a damn nuisance.
Yep.
He's taking shots with the guy in gym. He's trying to swing for main stairs. And the Monty, just in that moment, turns his head just enough to where Adam can slip a bullet past that shield, finds him, and now we're at 5-0. And for Furia, I mean, they are one of the best teams in the world, man, but even Furia, this is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, we're in desperation mode right now for Furia. You cannot let this be a 6-0 path. You did at least one, please. They're going to be going for a cache clear, so this is not very similar to the push they went for last time. Typically, you kind of have 2 choices when you clear this, right? You can go for the cache clear, or you can just focus on Jacuzzi and pushing the hatches and windows. You're going to try the second approach, and they will find that opening pick. Hurts, for the second time this game, gets an entry.
And now the air jab loaded up. Main rifle wasn't on either, so won't be able to tag up the clash at all as Forrest backs out. That pick onto Yogg will definitely be very important here for Furia as KZ starts to bully his way through a beautiful shot out of the revolver onto Grixer.
Yeah, really nice shot coming from the Demos. Obviously, that pistol is sometimes not the easiest to hit the head with, but I mean, you can do some real work with it. 3v5 advantage now. I mean, this should be winnable, but we're jumping out if we're Forrest. He wants to make a play.
Oh, Philly Pucks! The brain on this man, it knows no bounds. Double kill. What else do you want out of that situation? He knows to watch the rotation. It's down to Gomez, but it's a 1 versus 5. This would be absolutely insane if he was capable of it. Runs back across the nade, somehow doesn't take any damage from that. He'll take down Herds. SMG out. You gotta be kidding me, right? There's absolutely no way. I'll start to believe if he gets a follow-up, but Gomez down to low HP now. These angles so difficult to work up against. The bulletproof constantly spamming. KZ will finally shut it down. But what a half from Oxygen.
Nice to see some adaptation from Furia, right? They change up their game plan on the push. They don't go for the Jacuzzi push instead. Go for the cache clear. Get those early couple of picks. And then the shenanigans with the clash jump out. I mean, I was excited to see OXG try something because they were in the 3v5. They knew if they just sat on their hands, they were going to lose that round. So you try to make a play with the clash, but full epoch's just ridiculous. IGL, this team, of course, captain of this squad. You call him the brain of Furia, and he is incredibly smart as a player. So really nice to see him able to pull things back in for Furia, and hopefully that gets them back on track.
Yeah.
You know, they're moving to the defender side now, so this should be a little bit better for them. They should be able to get a little bit more comfortable on the defensive side of Clubhouse. And the fact they at least got 1 round, I think is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
We do see attack timeout being called right now. I'm not 100% sure which team that was, but I would have to guess it was probably going to be Furia. Really big start from OXG regardless, though. They are never going to be sad about a 5-1.5.
No, and even if the entire thing falls apart at this moment in time, you know, we go to OT or something crazy and Furia ends up taking the dub. I mean, Oxygen have looked so stellar thus far. And this is really what I wanted from them this tournament. And the fact that we got it so early on, Jesse, I mean, my heart is just so full for them.
No, it's really nice to see this coming out of OXG. I think a lot of people were wondering if we would see it, more so even than when we would see it.
Yeah.
The fact that we're seeing it not only at all, but so early in the tournament, I think means really good things for both OXG and any NA fans going forward as well. You see a very similar setup from Nade on that main stairs doorway where he put the Goyo canister on the soft barricades. So that'll stop any rushes as they strike down to the basement. And looking at this OXG lineup, I'm seeing a Finka, I'm seeing a Blitz. I'm thinking they might be looking to go for a rush here, Sam.
You know, you're probably right. I would assume that as well, but they do have to worry about Furia upstairs a little bit, Jesse. Although they are going to fly down the stairwell, they're about to meet a very unfortunate situation. He might just go through it. I think he is. He's going to rush right through, go right for Moto. Barely any damage done on Forest. Grixer? Can't say the same. Gomez? Roughly the same as well. This is going to be definitely one of those moments where Furia's utility will hold things up for a little while, but great positioning right now for Oxygen. Now I'm just worried about the flank coming in from Furia.
Force making a way in. There's another Goyo there. That's a disaster. Nade's getting 3 kills, 2 from the utility, feeling insane about that play. This is all falling apart for OXG.
Yeah. You introduce one Goyo into this game, man, and all of a sudden everything changes. Nade accomplishes so much with that utility and the Vector to boot. It's all down to Yogg and Grixer. What a find to still be able to at least get one. It's a 2 versus 3. Manageable, winnable, especially if they're able to get another pick. The beauty of a rush, especially when it comes down to a situation like this, Jesse, is the fact that you still have so much damn time. Yeah,
that they do, and they can start to set up for a plant now with that air jab. Going to be looking really, really good. They got pings on the blue player too, but too many angles to look for Yaga.
Down to Grixer now. 1 versus 3. He'll find one, but the Nitro's already been delivered. The air mail will explode right next to a remaining Oxygen player, and the rush strat lands on deaf ears.
And I think that kind of comes back to the tack timeout that was called right before the round. That kind of gives both teams a moment to stop and think, what do we want to do? And as a team that's up 5-1, going into your first attacking half, I think it's a very natural response to say, let's go for a rush. Let's catch them off guard. Let's make an aggressive play. That's something that we see a lot of teams go for after a big tack timeout. It's a very common thing that teams will be doing in the first round of a half. So I think credit not only to OXG to think of that, but more so credit to Furia to think they're going to think that.
Yeah.
Right? Furia were able to think to themselves, if we were OXG in this position, what would we do? Well, we'd probably try to keep the tempo up, knock them off for the very first round on their defense, and go for a big rush strat. So what did Furia say? They said, just in case they do try that, let's throw up Goyo canisters absolutely everywhere where you'd be rushing, which is main stairs. To put castle barricades on the Moto door so that rush gets even more stalled out. And by the time OXG hit the site, it was already like 45 seconds of the round. Furia were very much aware of what was going on, and that rush never accomplished what it wanted to do.
No.
So really strong foresight from Furia. OXG deciding to go for that play very likely before they saw the site setup, and that kind of ends up being what happens when you go for a risk play like that. OXG shouldn't be feeling too bad, because when you go for a risk strategy like that, I mean, you're doing it because you know you have a lot of wiggle room in this game, but still 2 more rounds to get the job done, and sometimes those can be the hardest.
Yeah, I always love a good gamble as well, you know what I mean? Always something you want to kind of toss in there every once in a while, because, you know, truly, it's always 50-50, right? It either works or it doesn't. So
sure.
This time around, definitely not the case. But as for Oxygen, though, we'll come back to Bear with a different selection of operators. The one that's obviously going to stand out the most to us will be Sense, and then Zofia, because Clash is on the board. We don't really have to talk about Blackbeard too much, because I feel like everybody knows nowadays. So.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of pressure over towards the Master side, too. We've got some players from Furia that are trying to extend their herds is inside of Logi, sitting on a mute jammer, trying to do his best impression of Adam, who had such a ridiculous play coming through just a couple of rounds ago in that exact same position. Clash will start to get that information on the players that are here on the main breach. JV's sitting pretty inside of Rafters as he's not placed any pressure. They need to understand there's a player in Logi. There shouldn't be a mute jammer there if there's not a player, so they have to sniff that out and go for a big clear.
Hopefully Adam is somewhat aware. Puts one of the B canisters in. I'm getting so scared he's going to drop this, Jesse. And behind the desk, this is very similar circumstances to what we saw when we saw Adam inside of this logistics position, except now it's really just down to the cross here. It's a 2-man, but Herds will catch them both as Oxygen just donates some bodies to the logistics office.
Yeah, not paying any respect to that position. They knew that there could be somebody there, but they just assumed that it would be clear. Sometimes you take those risks in Siege when you don't have time, and I fully understand that, but that time it bit them really hard, and now this 3v5 push, again, very little hard breach too, just the can openers to work with. It's going to be a nightmare.
Already worse for wear, and it's just so crazy what Furia is able to accomplish. I mean, guys, they got battered and bruised for their entire offensive half, and now they're just looking like they bought a brand new pair of shoes. That's a quad for Herds. It's a flawless over on this side of the fence, too.
Herd says, okay, Adam, I see you. I know what you can do inside of logistics. Why don't I do the exact same thing, but even more stylish? Really good stuff coming from that same position, coming out from Herds. Obviously known as one of the most talented players in the world for Furia, and a guy that had a bit of a slow start this game. 0-4 to start off on Clubhouse with the defense. He was trying to make some aggressive plays, as he very often does. Was getting hard punished for a lot of those plays. This time, though, his position does not get read out, and with some really good team play coming in from Fleetbox too. Fleetbox being that distraction, making sure that nobody could focus their energy on that player inside of Logi onto Herds. I think that made all the difference and really allowed Herds to step up and get those big kills.
100%, and that was the big difference maker in between the strategy for Oxygen there and the strategy for Furia. Furia, they put those eggs over in the logistics basket. That's exactly what they did. For Oxygen, they kept things a little bit more open. You have that player over in the construction door swinging things, you're trying to be a distraction, and it works out for Oxygen in that circumstance as well. But for Furia, I really like what we saw there, especially with the smoke coming in. It forces you to make a decision as soon as you step into that. You either have to try and rush in and get that frag, or everything's going to fall apart. My biggest gripe with that entire situation that we saw right there is, where's the B canister for the guy in red?
Yeah.
Where is it?
With the mute jammer there, it's tough to know if you could even get it off, but regardless...
True, those walls are a little annoying down there, aren't they? Yeah,
I mean, you see a mute jammer there, you got to assume that there might be somebody, right? So you've got to make some kind of a play. Unfortunately, it just wasn't a position they were able to clear, but now if you're OXG, you're starting to maybe get a little bit fearful. This game, once upon a time, fully in your control, is starting to slip, and Furia won't stop with the aggression, but they actually eat the Claymore. JV92 tries to get a little cheeky on the breach, but the drone hole Claymore ends up being his demise. That is the most JV92 way to die I've ever seen.
Yeah. That's just one of those ones that you don't see every day.
Yeah.
Very unfortunate for JV92. But for Oxygen, I mean, they are probably just so elated that they were able to get a practically free pick just by some proper utility usage. Now Oxygen, the world in their hands for the most part for this portion of the map as they can start processing things over on this side. We'll see what they can do with this hard breach as they start to open up construction.
Yeah, I will say like 4v5 is not the worst case scenario if you are Furia. You're going to have to give up that cache side of the map, so you're giving up a lot of map control to OXG too. They can kind of push from any angle they want to at this point. As long as they know that there's nobody kind of inside a cache they have to worry about, that means that they can push the site windows, they can push Logi Hatch, they can push main stairs, they can push Jacuzzi. They really do have a world of options available to them on the side of OXG. Then it kind of comes down to what can you do with your utility, right? Are you going to be rushing in with all 5 players and that stim coming in from Adam? Are you going to try to be working some picks from below on Yaga? These are kind of the decisions they're going to have to make, and I think they got a good minute and a half, minute 20 seconds now to figure that out.
Got some solid utility to deal with the clash as well. You got 4 grenades in here. You also got the air jabs from Gomez as well. So they have the solution. Now it's just the follow through. Are they going to be capable of trying to dissect this top floor and find a safe spot to put this case down? Obviously, the biggest detractor from this is going to be Nate, but also KZ as well with those yokais waiting in the wings.
Yeah, I like this top-down view. You see how spread out OXG are. They've got players on almost every single angle. They're all going to be working from different parts of the map. Coordinating this is not going to be easy, but if they do it successfully, it's going to be a monster push.
100%. It's going to be all down to Forrest, making sure his soldiers are lined up where they need to be. Grixer delivers. Yet another one will fall for Furia. This might be the round for Oxygen on this offensive side to start to get a grasp of what's been happening here on Clubhouse. It's a 5 versus 1, down to the clash. Not a place you want to be if you're Nade. He's trying to dance and bob and weave back and forth to find something. He'll get one. Adam will fall, but they know exactly where his positioning is now. Nade holding the angle, waiting to see if somebody will give him yet another swing here, but Oxygen, they're taking their time. Some nice shots out of Gomez. The Damos rolling up behind. Yag will be the man to deliver, and Oxygen find the round on the top floor.
Nade's had some beautiful clutches in his career, but the 1v5 on Clash while being Damos tracked is maybe a little bit too out of even his league. going to be a really awkward round, and it does feel like if OXG can get set up and can have the game plan that they want actually get executed, there's no stopping them. You really do need to stop OXG before they get into position to go for that push. Everything Oxygen are doing feels like they're doing it perfectly.
Yeah.
If you're letting them get set up and you're letting them execute their game plan, man, there is nothing that Furia can do to disrupt them.
It feels like the value in that first pick is just skyrocketing right now. It is so crazy. So for Oxygen, I mean, do you have it in the tank? Is this going to be where we see somebody like, you know, Adam, somebody like Gomez step up to the plate and knock this thing out of the park? For this position and what we're seeing right now, oh man. A little bit of a change up there at the very tail end. I don't know if we're going to confirm it. We'll see if there's any attack or repick, but Guy's Force is back on his blitz.
Yeah, one of his favorite operators, of course. They only banned out the Monty for him. Next couple of bans will be the Clash coming out from OXG. Again, one of Nade's favorites. I do think he's a super strong ban coming through. And then the Ace ban from Furia. That's a double hard breach now being removed. Both the Ace and the Thermite. Gonna make some of those top floor bomb sites really tough. You only have the Habana and the Maverick, so you're gonna have to get a little bit fancy with the walls. Thankfully, in today's game, almost every team is 100% proficient when it comes to opening walls fully with the Habana and, of course, with the Maverick as well. But we'll have to end up seeing how that does go for OXG. It'll be Grixer's task to do just that as he's playing on the Hib. We've got Herds coming in through with the Ella, excuse me, as well coming out and playing top floor, potentially going for a bit of a run out, but has some options on where he wants to move. He is not alone. He's got KZ on the top floor as
There's
well.
no way. I think they predicted it again with the Goyos.
Yeah, they should have the same Goyo setup to stop this rush, although it's not the exact same setup coming out from Furia, obviously. They've got more of a roam game this time, and not Nade anymore who's playing the Goyo, so I don't know if that might suggest they're going for a bit of a different push. It certainly does look like OXG don't want to push this site unless they're rushing, so we'll see a very similar strat coming through. As I say that, maybe Yogg is deciding against it. They're debating right now, Sam.
Scary prospect either way. Furia more than willing to risk it on this last round is, I mean, why not? Some of the best players you could ask to be in this position. 9 times out of 10, they do deliver. Yaga knows that player's inside of rafters, but isn't able to find even a point of damage just yet. Herds is going to peel off. Grishmont goes off upstairs as he will dash down Secret, but actually chooses to hold for just a split second.
You should find Forrest or Yaga if he finds anybody. You should find a shield, so these shouldn't work a pick. There's still a couple of roamers top floor. It's KZ and Philippox that are hiding up here, and I don't think they realize there's two. This could be a disaster for OXG.
Oh, Philippox?
This is what I'm saying. They didn't know there was another one up here.
Oh man, this is so bad, Jesse. He doesn't help him on main stairs. He'll bully him all the way back down. Are they aware that there's still a player upstairs? That's the thing for me now. I don't think that they know, but the Blitz is coming back upstairs, and he's gonna find him! Philippox, do you live? No, you don't. You die. 5 versus 3, minute and 15 seconds left. Jesse, what does Oxygen got to do?
This is just going to be very simple for them to come through the push. You saw the frustration from Philippox. There'll be a 3-man push down main stairs. Grexer on the Moto hatch, and then another player coming in anywhere that they choose. Could be blue, could be kitchen. Lots of opportunities. Still over a minute to work with for your OXG, so you don't have to rush this. We start to see the smokes come out, which will stall the initial push we saw main, and Herds aggressive to try to make a play.
Oh, and he gets planted right on his ass. Adam destroys Herds. Nades knows that he has to follow up. It's do or die. It's now or never. And Forrest will bully his way in. JB92 with a nice shot through Kool-Aid will find him. And now it's down to the 3 versus 2. This is a moment in time where Furia can really pull the wool over the eyes of Oxygen if they take this round. This could be otherworldly for them and how things have been going thus far. Could be, you know, a chance for overtime if you're able to turn something like this, but with 20 seconds remaining, JV92 and Nade waiting in the wings downstairs. It's up to Oxygen and their decision-making to make the most out of this situation. The finger boost comes in. Proximity alarm going off for the man in Moto. Gomez will find his mark, and he'll find it twice! Oxygen!